I just wanted to thank people for commenting on these tutorial videos. It really encourages me to make more of them. I think that what I'd like to do is make 2 or 3 more of these videos about just starting to draw. Starting to draw a person from before I get into, the particulars of, drawing elbows, hands, facial expressions, that sort of thing. One of the first things I think about before I even start drawing is where the viewer or the camera is in terms of the person. I mean, I think of the camera, but basically the point of view. Is the point of view from above the person, from directly the side of the person, or from below the person? Is it like a worm eyes view, down on the ground looking up at the person, towering above you? Is it, are you the viewer just in a crowd looking, at another, person 20 yards away, neither above or below. So that is definitely one of the first things that I think about. What I'd like to talk about today is some of the guidelines involved in drawing just a person from not from above or below, but just level, where the camera is basically level with the person. In fact, technically, I think that the horizon line would basically be in the middle of the person, and the person just standing there. Compositional guideline, drawing people just standing there, a lot of the times cannot be that interesting. Sometimes it could be very interesting, but what makes people interesting is when their bodies are moving. And in general, artwork exaggerates, for people to gesture a lot more, because when you're in real life, you're picking up a lot more than what could be conveyed in artwork. If you watch a movie and a person acts exactly the way they would in real life, the viewers of the movie aren't going to get as much of it. That's why even in the least exaggerated films, you'll notice they overact everything a lot, a good bit more, because when you're in real life, you're right there, and you just end up picking up so much more information. So, but that said, even drawing a person running across the street, it'll be helpful, some of the things I'm about to talk about. So, here's a person just standing here. Right off the bat, you want to divide them in half. Here's the bottom of the feet and the top of the head. Divide them in the half, and this right here can be the anchor points for the legs connecting into the hips. And so there's your simple guide number 1. Then feet. You look at this length here, and it's like, from heel to ankle, it'll be about that much. And so then from the anchor point of the upper leg, here's the leg here, and the ankle joint, here's where the leg and the foot bend, the ankle joint anchor point. You can divide these 2 points in half, and that's where the knee is going to be. So this is roughly the same length. And, also, once you have these guidelines down, everyone's different. I mean, if you look in real life, some people, their knees are going to be up here, and they're, I'm exaggerating, but, real life, no one is going to follow these guides. One thing that happens to me, I'll draw a face, and the next face I see in real life will seem incredibly disproportionate, because in nature, and that's not a bad thing, that's a very interesting thing. I mean, like, my nose is really askew, and I'm not saying it's like, I'm saying that's just normal for people not to have symmetrical, perspective correct bodies. And so anyway, I'm really digressing a lot. So anyway, the pelvis is usually, I draw it as a box because it's helpful to have all those directional lines in there, is 2/3 above the leg joint and 1/3 below it, so you have, 1, 2, 3, these three parts, and the legs, the anchor point is on the outside of this box for the legs, and then, currently I'm doing a sphere to measure the distance between the chest barrel and the hip box, or the whatever. But there's been times where I've worked with the spinal cord, but for the sake of speed, it's like this basically between the chest barrel and the hip box is a lot of movability. The body is incredibly flexible here, so there's a lot of flexibility right here, and so then here's then the head's up here. I guess they have like guides. I think for a male it's like eight head heights for body. Female in general is like 7.5 head heights for body, or something like that. A lot of the times that I think about is that for the overall height, I'll make a male head a little bit smaller, because in proportion their bodies are bigger than their head. Female, their head's a little bit bigger in proportion to their bodies. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up this tutorial. I'll continue on with this for the next one. I hope you have a great day and a good time drawing. And if you have a chance, please check out my animation at solomation.com. And that's it. Have a good day.